We always have a good things to hear from Dave Forehand, so we're going to let him kick it off. But I'm going to have Susan come and introduce him.
You just did.
You can tell him all about it, because we have newbies here.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, here we go.
Maybe.
You think I can? I know you can.
All right. Well, if you're new and you haven't heard Dave talk before, you're going to get a treat today because he is our YouTube star for the Arboretum. There's a lot of practice on talking to folks about this beautiful garden. And we're doing YouTube today, not that the rest of us aren't as comfortable as you are with this. So he will be speaking to you about what's new in the garden, and he has some display cards over here to show you as well. But we've all enjoyed Dave, and he used to share the docent area with us. His office used to be back there, and now he's over in the main area. So it's good to see you again, and please come on up.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well,
Before Dave gets started, be sure you got your cell phones turned off, silent, whatever.
back should be picked up. Remember there was a movie called Lies, Spies, and Videotaper. I don't know what.
There you go.
Sex lies and
It's just pointing right at me. Oh, okay. I didn't get it right. I knew I didn't want to remember that. All right, let me just pull these boards over, and when we get to this point, I can show you. I had a few more things, but it was tricky. I wish I still officed here today because I would have been high and dry. I had to go from the camp house to the VP back over here, and it just never quit raining until I finally got here. So we're in a nice little break. So maybe some more folks will come in. I thought what I might do is kind of backtrack a bit and talk about how we started this year, Dallas Blooms, and kind of work our way through what's going on right now and in the near future, and then what's coming through the rest of the year from a program perspective. Because I'll know all these things because I'll be doing YouTubes every week about all these things going forward. So I'll get to know them very well. But Dallas Blooms was a pretty good success for us. You know, it's all about the weather every time, every year. We can have a great theme or kind of a weird theme, but it doesn't really matter. It's really the weather determines how we do from a business perspective. And we've gotten pretty lucky and we've done pretty well. This weekend, being able to be a good weekend really helped us. So now, Dallas Blooms officially ended yesterday. So we're in that kind of no man's land between Dallas Blooms and the next big thing, which kicks off this weekend, but really not because it's Easter, and Easter's its own thing at the Dallas Arboretum. Good Friday, Saturday, and then Easter Sunday, and even a little bit on Monday because it's a holiday for a lot of people. A lot of schools are still out on Monday. So that's another big weekend for us, regardless if it's in Dallas Blooms or calendar-wise, it's just outside of Dallas Blooms. It's just as well it's outside of Dallas Blooms because tulip-wise, the Dallas Blooms ended about a month ago. Good gracious.
Yes.
Great tulips, beautiful tulips. You had to be in February to see them, but they were wonderful. And we finished up. But what happens when things are early like this, with the warmer weather that we've had, all the plants that replace the tulips and daffodils actually grow faster too in that same weather environment at the greenhouse and at the nursery where we're growing them out. So those plants are always ready as well. So that's why we're just changing everything out as quickly as we can because all that plant material is ready. A lot of it's quite large, already has blooms and color. You see as it's going in throughout the garden. It really makes a difference. So we'll have about another week's worth, depending on how much it rains this week, to get everything changed out with our next set of spring flowers, which will set us up for really pretty Easter. I think a lot of these things will be blooming pretty good. So there'll be a lot of shots. The rose garden is budding out, and I think it's going to be just perfect this weekend. So that'll be a nice place to go. If you bring anybody out over the weekend, you want to take a look at the Rosemary Hager Rose Garden. It's going to be really nice. And the hanging roses themselves are in full bloom over there right now. Interesting note this year about the flowering cherries. You know, we love that cherry time. We kept waiting. I'm the guy that's supposed to tell everybody exactly when the cherries are going to bloom every year. You know, I have no idea when they're going to really bloom. But I have a history of when they did bloom all the other years, so I can kind of use that as a guide. And I kept saying, well, 3 days, 4 days, maybe a week. And it just was odd thing because they were budded and they looked like they were ready and it was pretty warm. But what we discovered, they did bloom, but not like they normally do. And it was because of the really warm winter. They didn't get enough chilling requirement. And also that one super cold night, I think may have damaged the bloom cycle on them a little bit because it was so warm going into early January. And then we plummeted. I think we were at 15 degrees here that Friday night. Remember we had the little weird snow in the afternoon? This has happened, and then we got really cold. And I think that may have damaged the buds and the tissue there. in the plants, because not only did a lot of them not bloom well, they've had trouble leafing back out. And it's not that they're dead, it's just those buds were damaged. And when plants have damaged buds, it takes a while to regenerate and produce a new bud that can come out and kind of come from behind the bud that was damaged and grow out. And we're just seeing them leaf out. So it's an unusual year. We had enough cherries that bloomed nice enough that we could actually say cherry blossom. But that big ta-da never happened. It kind of just fizzled out, you know. And so next year, hopefully, we won't have that trouble. So it's not cold that hurts them, but it's going from 80 degrees to 15 degrees one night that can do some damage. So I think that's something that we noticed and we'll keep an eye on. Next big event opens this Saturday. Of course, it's already out through the garden. I think we almost needed more signs to explain what it was all last week and through this last weekend. But ZimSculpt, it's really, really neat exhibit from Zimbabwe. I think it's going to be wonderful, and the statuary looks so good in the garden. I mean, so many beautiful pieces that fit so well. A lot of people said, "Oh, this." Interact with even last week. Say, "Oh, this is so beautiful. You have all this in the garden." Well, it's temporary. It's actually an exhibit, but I think it looks so good. People think it's just part of our display. The artists are here. You may have kind of seen them. It's one of his name is Aaron, the other is Passmore. I would say their last names, but I can't. They're wonderful, long, beautiful names, but they're hard to say. But nice young men that'll be carving every day. So one of the two of them will always be here 7 days a week, carving stone. Aaron specializes in animal forms. So a lot of the birds you've seen out, or a lot of those are his pieces that he does. And Passmore specializes in the female form, some of the female statues. So between them, that's what they will be carving every day, and a lot of smaller things that they'll be carving because it'll be more efficient for them to do that in the tent where they'll be in the pecan grove. So you can actually purchase some of their works, or if you're watching them do something that looks interesting, you'll have the chance to buy that firsthand from them. The marketplace is the big white tent that's in the pecan grove now, so that'll roll up and open up. We're going to landscape. Jenny and Mark and the Hort team are really working on a landscape plan. A lot of that plant material is kind of cordoned off to the side to make it look more like it fits. Palms and a lot of tropical things that you would find if you were in Zimbabwe will be planted around that marketplace. And inside, a lot of the smaller pieces will be there for sale. They've brought over 4,000 pieces of statuary. Wow. Of course, a lot of them are smaller, and they're all for sale. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a rewarding experience for everybody. I think the artists will make money, and that's one of the things that's happened with this exhibit other places. The two sculptors, from the proceeds that they've raised from selling their own personal pieces, it really helps. When they get back to Zimbabwe, they have money. In a couple of cases of artists, they've been able to purchase a house or a new car for their family, those types of things. So this exhibit for them can kind of be a life-changing moment, working here, selling stuff to all of us that we can't wait to buy. So, and I talked to Joseph, who's one of the curators. Vivian and Joseph Prince are the curators. They're both live in Harare, Zimbabwe, but he's originally from France. She's originally from the United Kingdom. But they've curated this. So they've gone around Zimbabwe and collected all these pieces from the different artists there and then put it together and then presented as a show and brought it here. There's been a lot of other places in the world, just never had it here in the southern United States or the Southwest. So we're the first people to have it. And I think we're a great garden to do this. And I think other gardens are going to see this and realize that they want to do it too. What's happening. So kicks off this Saturday and will go all the way through July 31st. So it's kind of our summer exhibit, and we'll have a lot more marketing. Thursday at 9:15, we're having a press conference. You're welcome to come. It'll be over outside of the camp house in what we call the Shadow Garden, the Chandler Roosevelt Lindsley Shadow Garden, set up there. It's in the shade. I help lobby for shade. So I've done a lot of these openings in the sun. It's just burning everybody. So we'll be in the shade, which will be great. And you're welcome to come to that. From, I think 9:30 we gather. I think the remarks are at 9:30. I think there should be some entertainment and all, and we'll hear the remarks. So it'll be nice, and we'd love to have you there. A couple weeks later, big event. So we're already into ZimSculpt, and that's our theme moving forward. We will have Artscape Reimagined. It's our annual Artscape event, but it's bigger and better than ever. Khaki Hopkins, who's on the board, has taken on and become the honorary chairman of that event, and really trying to pump it up and raise. I mean, y'all may have heard, because I think there's some art that's going into the house here as well. Some of the other pieces that they'll be happening as part of the show will be in here as well. So that's going to be a big event. They're setting it up like a little village. So the Zim Sculpt tent will stay there, and we'll build the rest of Artscape with all the other tents up and down the pecan grove. It's going to be like little roads with art where you can travel up and down. Each tent will have its own signs, very elaborate. It's going to be very nice. We're going to have food offerings as well, and that'll be all day Saturday, 29th, and Sunday the 30th. There's a member preview night on Friday night, which is always a huge hot ticket. So pretty much everybody's probably members. You don't want to try to sign up to come to that. It's always a really nice event that Friday night before. And all that is going to be perfect because the weather's going to be perfect. As you know it, because it has to be. But this event has a history of having weird weather. I mean, from floods to one year it snowed. This was middle April, and they had to shovel the snow away from the fronts of the tent so people could walk in to see the art. Who does that in April in Dallas?
We do.
What happened? So it's later this year. Surely it can't snow, so we'll see. But good. Hopefully we got good weather going, and then that Artscape will finish up, and the rest of the summer we'll have Zim Sculpt. And then August comes around, Zim Sculpt is finished out, and August is just its own special thing. It's our $1 admission. It's a big ticket in town. People live for that month, where it's only $1 to come to the Dallas Arboretum. And we love being able to offer that to the folks in Dallas. That's a pretty cool deal, to come to a place like this for $1. And we'll have that as August Dollar Days. And September rolls around and we start building Pumpkin House all over again. Another great year. Programming note, this year it's a little later than last year. We've always do it on the third Saturday in September. Well, this year, the past year, that third Saturday was really only the second weekend, the way the calendar falls. You know, that calendar does some funny things, and so it was literally the third Saturday, but it was only 2 weeks in because of the way the Saturdays fell. So the pumpkins really weren't ready. Had to pick them, had to get them here, and they just weren't happy, and it was hotter than heck. Remember how horrible it was? Ugh. Anyway, so this year, it's just almost as bad. It's 1 day more removed from last year as we keep moving that Saturday, every year down the calendar. So we're going to actually start on the 4th Saturday, but it's really only like 3 weeks into September. So it'll give us an extra week, makes a big difference when pumpkins are being harvested and shipped from West Texas here. It gives us more time to develop and build it, and then we'll go right on through the rest of the year. And then 12 days we'll come back into clay. This will be our 4th 12 days of Christmas this year. And we've got committed to 5 years of that. So we got this year, next year, and there's already plans working on it. Sean's helping with this, actually coming up with what will be in these beautiful gazebos after this 5 years of the 12 days. The scenes. There's some really neat ideas of doing different iconic Christmas scenes in each one of the gazebos. Like the night before Christmas, kind of reimagined, beautiful and
So
Victorian style.
The gazebos belong to the Arboretum?
We own everything, yes.
Oh, okay.
But we, instead of starting from scratch, because these gazebos were quite an investment, the shells themselves, the lights and the glass and everything, so if we can just change out what's inside the snow globe, it's still a beautiful snow globe, so it'll kind of reinvigorate, it'll be where we want to come see it again, so that's what's being worked on, so that could roll in as well. Somewhere along, that would be, we're at 17, we do 18, it'd be 2019 that we would have those come in. Another wild card in all of this is we are communicating and trying to entice the Chihuly organization to consider coming back for a non-core performance here, because we know we can kill it if it's here. We will, gosh, the pent-up demand, the people that didn't see it or wish they'd seen it or didn't see it at night, we wish they had, we can do real well. So we continue to communicate with them, and we'll see if something happens. And that could affect what we do with some of these other events, because the Chihuly exhibit really needs to be 6-8 months of time. You've got to decide where you put that on the calendar, if it's too early or too late, or last year it did kind of work good. We started in May and we went through early January. So that's something that's just still being talked about. Let me move on to actual working projects in the garden now. A lot's going on since I've visited with you guys, and a lot continues to happen right now. There was a nice bit of work behind the camp house. Y'all have been over there, seen that beautiful new grass that we have. All you have to do is vacuum it. That's all. Vacuum And there is a fluffer too. There's a little machine that fluffs it every so
Oh,
often.
my goodness. It's like a shag carpet.
Yeah, that's good. Those were good days. I remember my aunt had it in her kitchen. Shag, but that. You never saw those sausages when they fell.
Where's the dollar?
Yeah. But we've already had a tent on it twice, and that was one of the things we were concerned about with the tent. It was supposed to hold up with the big tent, and having the tent was a great thing to be able to do that. With the tent on the grass, it really quickly always would degrade the turf, and it would die. And it was hard to keep the turf perfect anyway because of all the events, one after another, especially when the ground was wet, which it is a lot in the spring and in the fall. And that was really the determining factor. It's a big part of our business to be able to have high-quality events there behind camp and in the camp house itself. And so by having this conservation turf in place, we'll never not have a great event on the back lawn there of that area. So it just helps us greatly with that. And everybody's going to have a good experience. So it's a good use of it in that particular spot. And we'll determine if there's any other high-value rental spots like that where we may need to use it in the future for the same reason, just so we can have events. There's 450 weddings plus a year, and I don't even know the number of private rentals. There's just a lot going on where we need to be at a high level, delivering good service and quality experience to people. So that turf really helps us. And the landscape looks really good around it too. And we actually, part of that project too, we redid all the stone on the back patio and layered it and put in new pieces where it needed it, so it's nice and clean as well. This has been there for a bit, but may not have mentioned it, but the first leg of the lower tram path is in place below the concert lawn. If you've ever made it down that far, you'll see this really nice, clean path, and the new fencing looks great. And then if you walk long enough, you hit the dirt road again, which is the piece that hadn't been done, but it's going to be done eventually, or when we get the funds and work it out. And that will be able to travel all along the lake edge, all the way back to a tasteful place, which we mentioned in just a minute, and have some kind of terminus at that point and send back. And there is a service road that goes from below a tasteful place around to the parking